All right, heads of events, directors of conferences, we know you're under pressure, locking down the best venues, the best deals. It's a huge part of the job.
It really is. The stakes are high.
So today we're doing a deep dive, zeroing in on a specific pro tip document we found. It's all about boosting your negotiation power during that critical RFP process.
Giving you more leverage.
Exactly. Our mission here is pretty simple, give you some solid, actionable strategies, things you can actually use to get better terms, better deals for your events. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. The first point is surprisingly subtle but powerful. It's about how you talk about the future with your current venue.
Ah, okay, this is interesting. The pro tip talks about phrasing, right? Instead of just saying, yeah, we'll be back next year.
Right? You introduce a bit of, well, doubt isn't the right word. Options. You might say something like, look, we're definitely open to coming back. We value the relationship. But, we are also considering rotating venues.
And why does that little change in wording make such a difference? It seems small.
It's about creating competition before you even issue an RFP. It signals subtly that you're not a guaranteed booking. They can't take your business for granted.
So it lights a little fire under them, makes them think, okay, we need to work to keep this event.
Precisely. They're more likely to come to the table with a stronger offer, better service, maybe be more flexible on certain points because they know you're looking around.
That makes sense. It shifts the power dynamic. You're not just passively renewing, you're actively evaluating. And the benefit for you, the event director.
Better offers, potentially improved terms, more favorable conditions overall. It just prevents you from being, just another name on the calendar they expect to see every year.
Okay, so that's leveraging the pre-RFP conversation. Now, what about the RFP itself? The document highlights using a standardized RFP. Why is that so important?
Well, it might seem basic, but consistency is key when you're comparing multiple, potentially very different venues.
Right.
A standardized format ensures everyone gets the exact same information. The same requirements, the same questions, the same evaluation criteria.
So you can actually compare apples to apples, not apples to conference centers.
Exactly. It levels the playing field, it makes the comparison fair and transparent, and it reduces confusion or misinterpretation of what you actually need. Clear communication from the start.
Makes totally sense. Okay, so you have your standardized RFP. Where should heads of events be sending it? The source mentions distribution channels.
Yeah, think platforms like Seven, for example. These are essentially marketplaces. They connect planners like you with a huge network of venues.
So the wider reach than just searching individually.
Much wider. You tap into a broader pool, maybe discovering venues you wouldn't have found otherwise. And naturally, when venues know the RFP is out on a major platform,
they know there's competition.
They know there's competition. Plus, these platforms often have tools that help manage the whole process, tracking responses, comparing bids. It adds efficiency.
Okay, another tactic mentioned is using brokers. How does bringing in a third-party broker change the game compared to handling sourcing directly?
Brokers live and breathe this stuff. They have deep industry knowledge, connections, established relationships with venues.
Right, they know the players.
They know the players, they know the market. They can take your standardized RFP and present it strategically to multiple suitable venues, often simultaneously. Again, it dials up the competition.
And is there a perception difference? Do venues react differently to an RFP from a broker versus directly from an event planner?
Sometimes, yes. There could be a sort of subconscious positive response. Venues know that a good broker represents multiple buyers, not just your event this year, but potentially future business too. It adds a layer of, urgency and importance.
Interesting. So taken together, hinting at rotation, standardizing the RFP, using distribution channels, potentially engaging a broker, what's the overall message you're sending to venues?
You're signaling that you're serious, that you've done your homework, you have a process, and you're evaluating multiple options thoroughly. It shows you have the capacity for proper research.
As opposed to maybe just sending a quick email through the venue's website contact form.
Exactly. That direct, perhaps less formal approach might unintentionally signal you haven't cast a wide net, which could weaken your negotiating position right from the start.
So the big takeaway here for heads of events and directors of conferences listening, don't wait for the negotiation table to build leverage. Create competition from the very beginning.
Absolutely. Thinking about venue rotation, using those standardized RFPs, leveraging distribution platforms, understanding the role brokers can play. These are all tools to enhance your buying power.
It really puts you in the driver's seat. Which leads us to a final thought for you to consider.
Yeah, think about your next venue selection all the time, the resources, the effort involved. How might strategically building in that competition right from square one truly shift your negotiation power and ultimately impact the success of your entire conference?